All right. Now let's look at the second task that was in the session 1 assignment. We'll see how some of you have done, what they could have done better. Some of you could have done better, and how to use the yes but template for the type of task which is do advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So here I've got again 3 of the plans that you submitted. This time, I'd like you to look at them yourself. I hope you can see it well. And tell me whether this is what is the best way to plan this kind of essay. Pause the video if you need to read it, and in a minute I'll tell you what I think about it. So obviously, we see some of the same mistakes again. Some of you spent too much time, 10 minutes or under 10 minutes for planning the essay. And as I said before, some were a bit more structured than others. Some were even full paragraphs, which is not the best approach for the planning stage. But there is something that these 3 plans have in common. And the authors of these plans know what it is because I've written it in the comments to the assignments. All of these considered only one point of view. All of these 3 people said that advantages do outweigh the disadvantages, right? So, for example, I believe that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Here you could have written yes. Here, more advantageous. I agree. Yes, very good. But, and let me just stop the demonstration for a second. Right. So when it comes to questions like, do advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Or is it a positive or negative development? Or describe 2 points of view and give your own opinion. These are a bit trickier than just straightforward agree, disagree. And if you get lucky or unlucky, depends on the way you see it, you might need to write a more complex essay. As I said in the previous video, if you aim at a 7, you absolutely should include opposite opinions in your essay and evaluate them. And when it comes to advantages, disadvantages, 2 views and your opinion, or positive or negative development type of essay, without it, your task achievement, without looking at this from 2 points of view in your essay, you are not going to receive any more than 6.5. I can practically guarantee that. So let's see how we can use the yes, but for advantages, disadvantages type of essay, because I cannot stress enough just how important it is to include the opposite points of view and explain what you think about them, explain why you still believe what you believe, despite the fact that there might be some very good compelling arguments on the other side. So let me run the demonstration again. I'm going to modify the template a bit, and I'm just going to move it here, the topic here. Now, do I personally agree with that? I do. Yeah, I think the advantages do outweigh the disadvantages. But again, if I want to present a balanced view, I absolutely need to talk about disadvantages, which unfortunately the three people which you saw, whose works you saw, didn't do that. So let's have a look. Why, first of all, do I think that advantages outweigh the drawbacks? Well, some of you had very good ideas. I'm going to steal some of those. Young children, I think. Young kids are just better at learning languages. Um, that's just a fact, isn't it? What could be another reason? What could be another reason? I haven't taught a lot of kids myself, so let's see. Maybe they're not as, yeah, some of you said that they're not as loaded with schoolwork and they can actually spend more time learning languages. I like that idea very much. So kids are more free. Therefore, they have more time and energy to study languages. Now, to present a balanced view, we need to consider counter-arguments. So someone who thinks disadvantages outweigh. What disadvantages have we got? Now, what disadvantages are there for young children to begin learning a foreign language at primary school rather than a secondary school? Well, another one of you said that childhood is for games and running around and building friendships, not for living with your nose in the book. So let's put it there as a test. Childhood, okay, let's say too much studying robs young kids of their childhood. I think it's pretty clear what I mean by that. And another counter argument, another disadvantage, I'm sorry, could be well, this is something I see a lot in teaching discussions, right? A lot of parents are very unhappy that they have to hire tutors, for example, if the language teaching, in particular English language teaching at schools, is inadequate. It's difficult to find a good teacher. So hiring a tutor might be very costly for a family, right? Let's explore that. Language tutoring is very expensive. You can't argue with the fact that this is a legitimate counter argument. This is, by the way, a very important thing to remember about. Now, these opposite arguments don't have to be directly related to your own arguments. No, you don't have to make them related. I'm going to cross them out. What is important to keep related, however, is the opposite arguments column and the yes but column. These absolutely have to be, they absolutely have to be related. So I think I have a good idea. So too much studying robs kids of their childhood. Yes, but starting early also gives kids an edge in their future studies and their future careers, doesn't it? Yes, and although it may take up much time, well, some are happy to do that, to make that sacrifice. So, this is the way I think. Too much studying robs kids of their childhood. It's true, but early start gives kids a competitive edge. And if I want to put a couple of ideas down to develop this idea further in my essay, kids get a better chance at becoming more successful. Did I spell it right? Yeah. So do you see how this yes but directly follows from opposite argument number one? It absolutely has to. While the first column and the second column don't need to be. All right, language tutoring is very expensive. Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. But there are plenty of free resources and courses which you should know, since this course, for example, is absolutely free. So the opportunities are out there. And if you want to find a course, if you want to find a free um, course online, or maybe find other ways of learning a language, you absolutely will find a free way to do that. So there are free alternatives. Yes, this is very important, but there are free alternatives such as online forums, or maybe pen pals, or maybe, I don't know, computer games. Why not? I learned English with a lot of computer games. And as you can see, again, this directly relates to the second opposite argument. Now, I hope this is clear. I hope there is a clear difference between the basic plan that we talked about in session one and this more advanced plan that helps you consider different, well, both parts of the argument. What is absolutely mandatory here is that there should be three things to include. It is best done with 3 body paragraphs. My arguments in body paragraph 1, opposite arguments in body paragraph 2, and yes, but in body paragraph 3. But you don't have to have 3 paragraphs. In fact, there are ways to write it in 2 paragraphs. But writing the first draft and writing your text is not the focus of this session, right? I don't want you to write a paragraph or paragraphs. I want you to write an advanced plan using this yes but template. Let me reiterate that if you want a 7 and higher, you must include the opposite arguments. And although there are other ways to do that, this template is not the only one. In my experience, is just very straightforward, very easy way. Everything is just very structured, and I highly recommend you do that. So I hope you learned something today with me. Please keep your eyes peeled for the next assignment, and I can't wait to see your new works. Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Now let's see if I can stop it. No.